Let's talk acro chair basics. So if chair is new to you, whether you call it burlesque, acro chair, either one, let's talk about some of the basics of how to start, okay? These moves we're gonna go over, these are gonna be your fillers, okay? So if you're working on trying to build a chair routine, these are your bread and butter moves where you're like, I'm not sure what's gonna come next, or I'm waiting for that music to hit in the song, whatever it is. Let's just go over some of the basics of chair and what to do with it. Okay, let's talk about some of the acro chair or burlesque chair basics, okay? No dance experience required, no chair experience required. This is just, what do I do with the chair, okay? Let's talk about your basic movement. This is gonna be a figure 8 step. So for this one, if I'm starting with my feet about chair width apart, hands are on the chair, my weight, I'm leaning into the chair. With this, I'm gonna bend the knee, rotate, like I'm trying to touch the other knee, step and turn. Bend the knee, rotate, step and turn. With my foot on the floor, think about drawing a C shape. So one leg draws a C shape, the other leg draws a C shape. C shape, C shape, okay? So it's just constantly, it's making a little U. That's it, okay? So I rotate, step, rotate, step, rotate, step, okay? So if you look at it from the back side, if I'm here, I've got out, step, in, step, in, step. Okay? So a little variation on this, you can do it without ever moving your feet too. It can just be in your hips. If the foot movement and that little C step becomes too complicated, just here. Okay, so I'm just pivoting on the balls of my feet. Rule of thumb on this, don't ever have both knees bent at the same time. So if one knee goes to straighten, the other bends, and vice versa, okay? So starting initially, both legs are straight. I'm gonna bend, pivot, rotate, pivot, rotate, bend, rotate, bend, rotate, bend. Okay, so look at what that looks like as I'm here. Bend, pivot, bend, pivot, bend, pivot. Okay, so that's your basic movement. That's your, I'm not sure where my music is going. I'm not sure what my next move is. I don't know what to do with the chair. I forgot to turn the stove off, whatever it is. Okay, so now let's talk about getting in and out of the chair. Okay, so we're at the back of the chair. We've got our little figure 8 movements here, whatever that is. Actually, one little thing on the figure 8 things. Make them big, okay? Don't have just this little motion. Think of, you want to see your butt on the side, butt on the side. Think butt-onk-a-donk, okay? So pivot, pivot. I always tell my students, picture if you were in a room dancing as a silhouette and someone can't actually see your body, all they see is your silhouette. If you're just doing this motion, they're not going to see very much. You want them to see movement. Okay, so play around with this. Like, so those figure 8s, if those are new to you, take some time with it. So getting into the chair, we're gonna walk to the side of the chair. If I'm going to my left side, this side of the room, I'm gonna step with the opposite leg. So I'm gonna step with my right, or my inside leg, the leg closest to the chair. My outside leg is going to cross. Okay, so I'm crossing just at my knees. Okay, so just basically my knees are touching. Now from here, hand is gonna pivot. I'm gonna pivot on the balls of my feet all the way until I sit with my ankles crossed. Not knees crossed, my knees are touching and just my ankles are crossed, okay? Then from there, hands out, open, okay? From here, basic movements, okay? Ideally up on the balls of your feet because it looks better than this, okay? From here, hands can be on your knees, hands can be on the chair, hands can be wherever you want. And then from here, motion with your rib cage. So picture that your rib cage is inside of a tube. You're gonna arch, side, round, like someone poked you in the chest, side, arch. Okay, so initially it starts out like 4 corners. Arch, side, round, side. Arch, side, round, side. And then picture that your torso is inside of a tube and you're trying to touch every edge of it. Don't think about circling, think about pushing your torso all the way around, okay? Hands, they can be on your knees. Like I said, they can be in your shirt. They can be wherever you want them to be, but just really focusing on this area, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your neck. If you want to add in head flips and things like that, since it's cold and I have my beanie on, my head flipping is limited right now, okay, or hair flipping. So some motion. Knees can stay in place. You can kind of let them go with the movement, whatever. Once again, play around with this. Okay, so another set of go-to moves right here, just movement. It doesn't always have to be big, just this movement, depending on your music, make eye contact with your audience if you have one, or with yourself in the mirror if you're dancing for yourself, whatever it is. So now let's talk about getting out of the chair. From here, I've got hands out at the knees. I'm gonna, as if I'm pushing my knee, but it's very gentle. Think of close the gate, leg slides, ankles cross. Okay, so we have not so ladylike, ladylike. Okay, so knees are touching, ankles are crossed, and we're just reversing what we did to get out of the chair. I'm gonna pivot, one hand to the back of the chair, or the seat, I should say, the other hand to the back. Think of turning your booty, whoop, to the crowd. And then walk your way to the back of the chair. And once again, we have our figure eights. Okay? So let's put it all together. We're at the back of our chair. Figure eights or feet in place, just pivoting, whatever you want to do, waiting for your music. When you're ready to walk, step, cross, pivot, sit, open. Working it around, arch side round, head flips, whatever you want to stylize it. You're ready to get out of the chair. Close the gate, pivot towards the chair, big circle with your butt, and walk it to the back of the chair. Okay, rule of thumb, when in doubt, stick your butt out. Okay, so if you ever get to a spot and you're like, I don't know what comes next, think. Okay, gives you time to think. That's kind of your go-to move. If you're not sure, but take your time, but. Okay, so here's some fun chair, burlesque, or acro basics for you to play around with. Try these out. If you have questions, feel free to leave those in the comments below. Let me know how it goes. Enjoy.